are you really innocent until proven guilty, or rather, are you guilty until proven innocent? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, endowed with certain unalienable rights, among those life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That quote ran through my mind as I stood in my orange jumper. My cellmate in maximum security isolation had been in prison for 15 years. I watched him clean the cell repeatedly and meticulously over and over. I watched him unsew yarn only to re-sew it back. After so many years in prison, this is what kept him sane. I didn't have much to do or say, but to stare at the dimly lit concrete walls, or the solid metal door. And as the days passed, I grew restless in 24-hour isolation. Finally, one night, when no one else could hear me, I laid down on my metal bunk. Without anyone hearing me, quietly, I cried. Not because of the miserable conditions I was in. I cried because I could not be heard. That was 2010. I was incarcerated. I was in prison for 22 months. 11 of the 22 months in high security prisons. Eventually, I won my case on appeal. My name is Mahmoud Reza Banki. Originally from Iran, I am a United States citizen. I was wrongfully charged and prosecuted for violating the US-imposed Iran sanctions. My family sent me my mother's divorce settlement from Iran to the US. Family money of this kind is clearly exempt from the sanctions law. Yet, it took me 2 years of being in prison, almost 2 years, and 2 years of fighting court cases from inside prison to get some measure of justice. It nearly cost me my sanity. It could have easily cost me my life. So after my experience, I started asking questions. How could all of this happen in the United States in this day and age? So I'm going to take you through 5 themes that I've thought about in the intervening time. The first, innocence. In this justice system, are you really innocent until proven guilty, or rather, are you guilty until proven innocent? I'll never forget that day, January 7th, 2010. I was living in New York City. I was working at McKinsey, 6:30 a.m. A dozen agents stormed into my apartment, slammed me against the wall, handcuffed me, and they take me away. No attorney, no charges. They interrogated me for the rest of that day. And I still didn't know why I was there. It has to be a mistake. At the end of the day, they handed me an indictment, a list of charges I could not comprehend. They handed me the indictment through the metal bars of my cage, strip searched and shackled me again before transferring me to maximum security isolation. Despite 3 attempts, I was denied bail, as my family and friends scrambled frantically to find an attorney who could represent me. On the day I was arrested, McKinsey fired me, naturally. New York Times, Associated Press, Wall Street Journal, and other news outlets ran articles about me. pitching the prosecution's version of how I was a criminal. At what point did the burden shift from innocent till proven guilty to guilty till proven innocent? A prosecutor makes a unilateral decision to go after someone, that they have enough evidence to put them away. What if they're wrong? And my case is not unique. According to the Innocence Project, up to 5% of inmates are innocent based on DNA testing alone. Now, what's disturbing about that is DNA testing is irrelevant, if not impossible, for the vast majority of criminal cases. You couldn't have used DNA testing in my case. Prosecution. With the growing power of prosecutors over the last 3 decades, there are consequences. The war on crime, more law enforcement. Has prosecutorial power advanced so much to nudge us closer to a police state? What happens when prosecutors go after crime at any and all costs? Since the 1980s, there's been a push to be tougher on crime. Consequence, an ever-increasing arsenal of laws. In a post-9/11 world, this is ever more amplified. Overcriminalization has increased the number of federal laws by 50% over the last 30 years. Some of these laws are vague, open-ended, and rely on technicalities. For example, a common charge against defendants, and one I saw frequently in prison, is conspiracy. It is loosely defined as an agreement between 2 people to commit a crime. It's a low bar, and it's easy to charge someone with conspiracy. It is well known that the US incarcerates more people than any other country in the world. Any way you cut the data, US comes out on top. 3% of the US population is either in prison or on supervised release. So, we should ask, how effective are we in fighting crime? Are our tax dollars really fighting crime? Or could they lead to prosecution based on political agenda? Defense. If arrested, like I was, do you have the resources to defend yourself? In the federal system, prosecutors win 98% of criminal cases. 60 to 70% of these are plea agreements. It costs hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, to defend yourself. The typical inmate I saw in prison is a minority with little to no education, has had the deck stacked against him his entire life. This defendant probably does not even understand the charges against him, let alone articulate a defense. He could be guilty of several offenses, but is being charged with far more. Federal criminal defense costs are enough to drive most people in this country into bankruptcy, on par with a catastrophic medical condition. So ask yourself, if this happened to you, how will you pay for that? Prison. Is it rehabilitation or punishment? And of whom? And how much punishment is enough? I did not see rehab. I saw desolate, angry men cut off from the world, with no hope for the future, but the mirage of getting out of prison only to come back into prison. In maximum security isolation, I heard screams of inmates who needed mental help, not the iron fist. In lower security prisons, I saw families visit inmates. I saw inmates surrounded by their children, all supervised by the guards. Did these families commit a crime? Are the children getting punished? What will happen to their future? Some argue that prison is a deterrent. If so, why has the prison population risen 6-fold since 1990? We certainly don't have 6 times as many people. Do we have 6 times as much crime? Are we 6 times safer? Prison. Not a deterrent, not rehab, not clear who else is getting punished. Reintegration. Guilty or innocent. After doing their time, what options do inmates have? Have we become the unforgiving land of no second chances? I'm lucky in a lot of ways. I have a PhD from Princeton. I have 2 bachelors from UC Berkeley. I worked at McKinsey, one of the top firms in the world. And now I'm getting my MBA at Anderson. Yet, I'm denied equitable work opportunities. I've applied for over 100 jobs, don't have a single full-time offer to show for it. I actually did get a dozen job offers. They were all rescinded. Employers avoid a background that has explanations. So it got me thinking, if I am struggling, despite all the chances I've had, despite trying so hard, how are the others who did not have opportunities I had faring off? So in their case, they made a mistake and paid the price. What happens to second chances? There has to be a better way. Change takes awareness. It is easy to ask for draconian laws. It is very difficult not to make a mistake, to not put an innocent person in prison. Change starts with each and every one of you, with a shift in your mindset the next time you turn on the news. I saw a lot of violence inside high security walls, stabbings, abrasive personalities, harsh conditions, inadequate edible food, and on and on. But what was most difficult for me was being in prison knowing I was wrongfully charged. We do so many things so incredibly well in this country. Not justice, not yet. Thank you.